Hello, welcome to the latest edition of Ragic Office Hour. And let's get started by doing a recap on our latest features. And today we're going to do a recap on a pretty useful feature when you're printing out your records a lot, especially if your records are long that may span multiple pages. This feature enables us to add a header and a footer to your page when you're printing it out, especially for long records like this. So, for example, we use this asset management sheet, and we have a record that may span multiple pages. And usually you might have a lot of fields, or sometimes you might have multiple subtables or subtables that have lots of rows, then they may span multiple pages. So having a way to configure a header and a footer could be very useful. So let's go to the design mode. So the header and footer, they are configured in the design mode, and you can choose the fields, actually the rows that you want to set as the header or footer to the sheet. So you can select, let's say we want these things to be the header of the sheet. So we select these rows, these 9 rows. They need to start from the top of the sheet. They cannot start from anywhere in the middle of the sheet. So you can just select these rows and right-click. You can choose Set as Print Header. And you can also set as footer with something like this. You just select rows at the bottom of your sheet, and you can set them as print footer. And let's see how this works in action when you're printing out the records. So just remember, the headers need to be at the top of the sheet, and the footer needs to be at the bottom of the sheet. And this will give you a way to have dynamic headers and footers, so that it's not fixed. It's not fixed data. That only fixed data that and footers, including those dynamic database. I think my mic was kind of not connected very well. You can hear me now, right? Well, from my broadcasting configurations, I think you can hear me now. Okay, thanks. All right. What do we missed? And so, okay, a small recap on our recap. And so we can create headers and footers for the for your sheet, so that when you print it out, it will look something like this. Let me show you. Oops. Let me show you the result. So you will have repeating headers, and the headers does not need to be like fixed form descriptions. They can be anything on your sheet. So I choose the top 2 sections as a header. And when you print it out, the header will repeat itself on each page. And a footer also can be like any form description or fields, and it will also repeat itself on every page when you print it out. So this applies to when you generate a PDF, or you can just basically just go printer friendly. And from this page, you don't see it repeating because on the browser it doesn't show any pages. But if you really print it out, you will see that the headers and footers will be printed as headers and footers repeating on each page when you actually print it. But on the preview page, you won't see it being repeated because the browser tab will render the whole page as one page. Okay. Okay, I hope this is useful for everyone, and feel free to try this out. And if you have any comments on the headers and footers printing, please feel free to let us know. Okay, let's get back to the questions. First question, approval for deleting rows. Hi Jeff, can we set an approval process for deleting any rows? Means if anyone delete any row or run mass delete process before the line is being deleted or mass deleted, it goes for approval, and upon approval only the lines get deleted or mass delete process gets executed. There's not a lot of things that you can do on the delete row events right now. I can think of, if you want to set the certain rows as inactive, you may be able to use something like update values, and you can create a button for this and make it so that only when approval process passed that you can update the values and that you can execute this action button. But for actual deletion, right now I don't really see a good way to do this. Let's take a look at the approval process to see if there's anything I overlooked. Yeah, I don't think there's anything good that we can use to approve deletion and mass deletion. But maybe, just maybe that we can create a button that deletes a record, and it can only execute after approval. So what about this? Only executable. Okay, this might work. But this might not work for mass deletion. Okay, yeah, for now I would think it could be a good way to, this could be a way to make sure that, when only executed when approved. But this is still different. When you approve, you're approving a record. You're not approving the action of the record deletion. So if you go through the approval process, it still looks like that. No, it's approving this record itself, not that it's approving that this record should be deleted. So yeah, no, I don't think there's an easy way to do this. But of course, if you would like to write some JavaScript workflow, it's possible. So if you're able to select, like create a new sheet and list the record that you would like to delete or the deletion configurations on the sheet, and you can write the JavaScript workflow to read those deletion criteria and do the deletion described on that sheet. Like this is mass delete transaction sheet, and you approve, and you only allow this mass delete transaction sheet to record to execute only after approval, then it's possible that you can do something like this. But right now, for our standard functions, it's unlikely that you can do that without writing any script. You are not able to run approval for deleting mass deleting records without writing JavaScript. With JavaScript workflow, it's possible to create a sheet mass delete request and have the user describe what they would like to delete. The criterion for deletion and make sure that the create an action button that runs the customized flow for mass deletion that you wrote, and then only allow action button execution after the mass delete request is approved. So it's possible, but you'll need to do quite a bit of stuff. Basically do most of the stuff with JavaScript workflow. So this is a general idea of how this is possible. So a lot of times, if you want to do some action, or you want to create some action that's only executable after after approval, you can create this kind of request sheets, so that on the request sheet the user describes what they would like to execute and what they would like to do, and you can create action buttons that actually do these kind of custom actions, and then you can attach approval process to that button, so that action button only is executable after the record, which is the request, has been approved. So yeah, it's possible, but it will require some writing and JavaScript workflow. Okay, next question. Data sets volumes in Ragic and licenses. Hi Jeff, nice to meet you. My question is related to data set volumes in Ragic and licenses. So the question is, in case my data volume is growing in Ragic, I need to purchase a second license, a second user, let's say. If this is so, can I purchase the second license based on the same admin email account like my first license? My guess is that you mean like the second user is in the same database account? And if this is what you mean, of course, and one database account can have many users. So not only two, you can have basically any number of users in the same database. Maybe you're saying the same data value. So yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, what you mean, that of course when you purchase any other email users, then they can be added to the same same database account. You just go to manage users and add more users. If you mean that you would like to add more users to the database that you created on Ragic, then yes, you can go to the user management page under the sandwich menu at the top left and add more users. They will be able to access your database account according to your SYSAdmin settings. Okay, and if you're referring to other questions, feel free to let me know, and I'll see if I can help you out. Okay, next question. Now the question is delightful. I hate Microsoft Access. I like Ragic. It reminds me of these I have used: R-Base, Q&A, Clarion. Thanks for the product. You're welcome. Yeah, we've put a lot of work in like more than 10 years of product development. So yeah, we've been working on this for such a long time, and we've been pretty much actively and pretty aggressively adding more and more features and doing a lot of tuning. So this is a product that we have worked for a long time, and has been serving lots of customers for a long time. So it's pretty reliable, and we just hope more and more people will be able to learn about Ragic and start using it to help out their companies. Thank you. We've put a lot of years of Okay, thank you. All right, and that's it for the questions for today. And thank you for joining in to the Ragic Office Hour session. If you have any other questions, please feel free to use the Office Hour question sheet to ask your questions, and I will be answering your questions in 2 weeks. Thank you and goodbye.